A show created by the fans, for the fans. We are your home for Ohio State football coverage all year long. The Scarlet and Gray Podcast, a Network 216 production. Live weekdays on the Network 216 YouTube channel. Send us all your questions and comments on Twitter at @VSG_podcast. Now, here are your hosts, Tyler Johnson, Jordan Dalton, and Nick Leisure.
Hello, Buckeye Nation, and welcome to a special episode of the Scarlet and Gray Podcast. I am Tyler Johnson, as always, joined by the boys, Jordan Dalton, Nick Leisure. Gentlemen, how are you guys doing today?
Doing well.
Yeah.
Really excited for this one.
Yeah, got a real treat for you guys today, so it's gonna be a good little segment. We're ready to go. We're excited.
Yep, absolutely. Of course, before we get to any of it, guys, just as a reminder, when you're watching the video, please just drop a like onto the video. Subscribe if you are brand new to Network 216, as we are on the push for 3,000 subscribers, and we can't get there without your help. But also, just as a reminder, the Scarlet and Gray Podcast and Network 216 is proud to be a partner of Homage Athletic Apparel. Right now, go to homage.com, get 15% off your first order. If you do that by just putting in your email address, you sign up for their emails, you can get 15% off your first order. That's homage.com. And without wasting any more time, we're going to go ahead and bring in our special guest. We are joined by new Ohio State quarterback, Noland. Thank you so much for joining us today. How are you doing?
I'm doing great. How about yourself?
Doing well. We're doing well. We're really appreciative that you're joining us today. We want to get right into it. A lot of fans love to know about the recruiting process. They like to know what it's like for guys and ultimately what made them choose Ohio State. So I want to ask you that. What was the recruiting process like for you these last couple of years? And ultimately, what made you decide to want to become a Buckeye?
First, I would just say culture and history. The culture and the history speaks for itself. Second, I would say coaches and my teammates. They're like no other. And third, I would say just the organization as a whole. The organization at Ohio State speaks for itself. I feel like the culture and the history does the same.
Awesome. Yeah, and so kind of going off of that question, when you committed, you were coming in thinking Ryan Day was going to be the play caller. In the past couple of months, we've had some big changes with Bill O'Brien coming in for about a week. He was going to be calling plays, and now you have arguably one of the greatest offensive minds in college football. He's not only your offensive coordinator, your play caller, but he's also your quarterback coach. So how does that how does that make you feel, honestly?
Man, it's amazing having Coach Chip Kelly as the OC and the quarterback coach. Like that's a great feeling, man. It's hard to get that, in these college days.
Yeah. So is he directly working with you guys every day? And especially for you being a left-handed quarterback, how does that kind of differ from the other guys in the room? Like, are there certain things that you have to work on differently in drills or things like that?
Yeah, of course, I'm a lefty, so a couple of things are going to be different for me. But I feel like every quarterback is the same, man, in their own unique way. We all have something different we bring to the table, whether that's me, whether that's Will, whether that's Julian, whether that's Devin or Lincoln. So I feel like we all bring something different to the table at the end of the day.
Awesome.
Yeah, and I just kind of wanted to touch on real quick with you enrolling early, leaving high school early, graduating early. I know that transition can be a little difficult for guys. So I just want to know what the process has been like for you coming from high school early, enrolling into college, getting in the practice schedule. I'm sure the schedule has been nonstop every day for you guys since you got on campus. So just talk about that process and how you've kind of acclimated and gotten used to it.
I would say I'm very well adjusted now. First off, I had to get used to the schedule, get used to the busy schedule at Ohio State. But now I'm well adjusted and ready to go, man. The process has been like no other. It's been, hands-on since day one.
And you brought it up earlier that everyone in this quarterback room has a completely different skill set. What would you say as a quarterback that your biggest strengths are? And as you are a freshman this year, what is the biggest thing that you want to work on improving with your game?
I'll say my terms are my pocket presence and my athleticism. The biggest things I want to work on probably is more so my athleticism, more strengthening my strengths, but also strengthening my weaknesses. Also, like going out, rolling out play action passes and stuff like that. So, strengthening my strengths and strengthening my weaknesses are a big part coming in as a freshman.
No doubt. And I know the weight program is pretty intense down there in Columbus. So, I mean, just talk about that kind of experience, because I know it can get pretty intense in there. I know the winter workouts go pretty hard, and I know it's probably not hitting the weights as much in the spring, but I mean, I know you probably got a little bit of taste of that, and just kind of talk about that experience, especially with the older guys kind of leading you guys through those workouts.
Yeah, man. Coach Mick does a good job of just developing us into grown men. First off, and also the strength and conditioning coaches that play a part in that are very well as doing a great job at that. So I would just say, all of those guys are hands on with the freshmen, the sophomore, the junior, or the seniors. Regardless of what you are, they're going to be hands on with you.
That's awesome. Yeah.
So JD, I know you had another really good question that you wanted to ask.
Yeah, so this was kind of one of those things when Julian had committed that everybody was like, oh, how's Eric going to feel about him coming into the room, because you guys are in the same class. You guys are both 5 stars. So with him coming in and then Will Howard on top of it, how have you kind of set your mindset to approach this season? Because there's 5 quarterbacks in this room, including Lincoln and Devin, who are really good quarterbacks. So what's your mindset? How are you approaching that to one day become the starter at Ohio State?
Just taking it day by day, man. Being myself. I feel like we all do a good job of being ourselves, but sticking within my skin, going out there and leaving no doubt, having confidence, being persistent is, the things that are going to take me to the next level and hopefully one day can help me be a starter.
Love it. Absolutely love it. Eric, so this is a really good question. Obviously, being a left-handed quarterback, there is, of course, one currently in the NFL. Of course, that's Tua. But regarding your game, who would you say are quarterbacks that you really try to model your game after, or quarterbacks that you really look up to that this is who you want to try to model your game after, take things away from what they do on the field?
I mean, you hit it on the nose first, man. Tua Tagovailoa, of course. He's a lefty and probably the only lefty in the league right now as a starter. You have, Aaron Rodgers. You have, Tom Brady. You have all the greats that do a great job. Also, Jalen Hurts. I think he does a great job of just, being persistent and being consistent with his base and whatnot. So those type of quarterbacks are the quarterbacks I look up to, and, et cetera.
Yeah, one of the really cool things I saw in the draft process. So this season, Michael Penix Jr. coming out as a lefty. There was a couple videos that had mirrored his film from the season, so it made him look like a righty throwing the ball. So I was curious, have you ever mirrored any film from a right-handed quarterback to see how they throw left-handed?
Yes, C.J. Stroud. You guys know.
Okay, cool.
I'm sure, but yeah, C.J. Stroud is one of those guys that, of course, has been at Ohio State and has played very well within the NFL system. So C.J. Stroud does a great job of role modeling for me and for the quarterbacks in the room at Ohio State right now.
Awesome.
And so you bring up CJ. Have you gotten to talk to him at all, just about how his process was through Ohio State and kind of just stuff like that? Have you gotten to speak with him at all personally?
Oh yeah, CJ Stroud, you're one call away from him. He's going to be him. He's going to be himself, regardless of where he's at, or if he's at Ohio State or if he's at the Texans as he is right now.
Yeah, he definitely broke our hearts this year. We're all Browns fans, so we're like, all right, we're definitely rooting for CJ in the playoffs, and then we get him first round, and we're like, oh my gosh. It was we love CJ and everything he's about, so it's awesome that he's consistently reaching out to you guys and really making himself available.
So, Air, I got two questions for you. One, of course, one more serious question, and then we're gonna have a fun question here at the end. But what are the expectations for this team this year? I mean, Ohio State is bringing back pretty much everybody. I mean, of course, there are a couple of guys, Marvin Harrison Jr., Michael Hall Jr. on the defensive side of the ball, but basically the entire defense is coming back. A ton of experience on the offensive side of the ball still returns. What are the expectations for this team this year?
Just to take every day, day to day. Not, looking too far ahead in the future and just staying in the present. Coach Dates had a great conversation with us after practice about that, just staying in the present and not looking too far. Because we can't beat the team up north right now. We can't win the national championship right now. So we just have to, be us at this present moment.
Yep, absolutely. It's funny, JD and Nick. We actually used to have a football coach that always would preach us to live in the now. So it's awesome Coach Day use that with you guys there. Final question. A lot of fans are excited about the return of EA Sports College Football. I am probably at the head of that list. I share with these guys every single day, players that are opting in, all kinds of game updates. They're really annoyed with me, basically. But I want to ask you, regarding this game coming out, are you looking forward to being in this game? And honestly, what is it like knowing that as growing up, you probably played this game, I'm sure. What's it going to be like having the opportunity to actually play as yourself in a video game?
Man, I would love to, opt in and play in this game, but it's something that I have to, it's a process that I have to go through. Just like picking a school. When I picked Ohio State, I had to go through a process. Making sure this EA Sports is the best decision for me is something I have to make sure of, not with just myself, just my parents and my family as a whole. So I'm taking that day by day as well. It's something I see entertaining me on the internet, entertaining others on the internet. So I'll sit up here and be a lie if I say it didn't entertain me. But it's definitely something I'm willing to looking forward to.
Awesome. Well, Air, thank you so much for your time. We really do appreciate it. Buckeye fans, make sure you give Air Noland a follow on Twitter at @AirNoland_. Air, thank you so much. We want to wish you the best of luck this year, and we'll look forward to catching up with you after your freshman year.
Yes, sir. Thank you guys for having me, and go Bucks.
Go Bucks. Thank you. Guys, that was Air Noland. That was absolute blast. Any final thoughts before we wrap this process up?
No, I love his mentality, taking it a day at a time. And, there's not a lot of things you can do to become the starter right now other than taking it a day at a time. You're not going to walk into a room like the one at Ohio State and instantly become a starter. It's just going to take work and time, and that seems to be his mentality. So,
man, I'm going to need one of them shirts, dude. You see that? It had rebuild, blocked out, and said reload. Dude. I need one of them.
Dude, I do too, dude. They're swagged out. They get so much gear, dude. It's just remarkable.
He seems like a upfront kid, man. He's gonna be a good fit. I mean, I know I'm excited to see what he can bring to the field. So,
oh, dude, there were highlights he was putting up in high school. I remember he was on ESPN. This dude's just dropping dimes all across the field. I can't wait to see him play. I know. Hopefully in the spring game for sure, because, of course, we want everyone to be healthy for the spring game. So we're hoping we get to see him in the spring game because that would be very exciting. And I'm looking forward to win that day as they're throwing Jeremiah Smith that first touchdown because that's going to be a time. That's going to be a great time. Well, guys, we hope you enjoyed this exclusive interview with Ohio State quarterback Air Noland as much as we did. If you guys did, of course, as always, show your support. Drop a like onto that video. Subscribe if you are brand new to Network 216. Again, we're trying to reach 3,000 subscribers here before the end of the year. Can't get there without your help. But thank you guys so much for tuning into this episode. We will talk to you guys all again soon. And, of course, as always, go Buckeyes.